Hello there, fellow gamers. This is Sorvesteon, and I thought in this video I would address a topic that I've been getting a lot of questions on. How I make so much money. Now, personally, I don't really think I make that much money. Uh, okay, I have 117 gold. It's not really that much. It's about to be a lot more. And I'll show you in this video how you can get, those big numbers. So I've already kind of reaped the rewards of my hard work, and I've got a Venomous Casper here, a sealed one that sold for 700 gold. So that is like awesome. So I'm really happy about that. So I'm just gonna go to transaction. Wow, that's a big sales fee. I could reduce it, but I don't really care. Mostly, meh, whatever. Gold is gold. So now I have 785 gold. So that's kind of where, I get all this gold from. Selling heroic familiars. I mean, I make all these taming guides, right? And, I end up with all these heroic familiars in my bestiary. And, I got tons here. I got Agnes the Red, I've got Koresh, and, I mean, I don't need all of them. So, if you just stockpile up your heroic familiars, that is a lot of money you're sitting on that you could otherwise be using or enjoying for other things. And that is kind of really the secret to making gold in Riders of Icarus. It's selling heroic familiars. Now, I mean, they are kind of the pinnacle of barter crafting, and really the pinnacle of a lot of other stuff too, because they're hard to get. I mean, oh gosh, where to start? As I've shown you in a lot of my taming guides, getting the materials for the marks, getting the recipes, that's not necessarily that easy. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of materials, it takes a lot of farming to get all this stuff to craft the marks to tame heroics. Sometimes you just get them out of events, I have a Faded Crush mark and a Davine's Perfume and an Aisha's Will, and I got the Aisha's Will from the event that's going on right now, and I mean sometimes you can just get it straight off the auction house. I mean, look at this event stuff. These familiar master packages, look at that. Faded heroic box, heroic mark box, and then there's another heroic mark box here. So, I mean, sometimes, I mean, this stuff is limited. It's only for the event. So this is kind of like a special case. But for the most part, getting heroic familiars is rather difficult. And I know right now they're going, they respawn every 30 minutes, but before and in the future, they have rather long respawn timers. So what I'm getting at is that heroic familiars are difficult to get, and they are in demand. There are lots of people who want to have the best gear, and they have lots of money. I don't know how they got their money, and yeah, but they have lots of it, and they are willing to spend big bucks to have the best gear. And those are basically, who you're catering to. So you have people that want to buy these heroic familiars, and so, selling them is probably where you're going to make the most money, because they are probably, in the game, the most difficult thing to get and to seal up. There are lots of things you need to do. I've already mentioned you need to get a mark, and then after you get the mark, you actually have to go out and tame the thing, and there can be tons of competition for it. You could fail, having a mark does not translate to having a heroic familiar. So, that increases the rarity right there. And then, of course, after you successfully tame a heroic familiar, you have to level it up. And they have very long, leveling times compared to the elites or just the commons. So it could take all night, or it could take like several days to level up a heroic familiar. And then on top of that, you need heroic seal stones. Heroic seal stones are presently hard to come by, and their price on the auction house kind of reflects that. Here, let's go take a look. So the heroic seal stones, let's go to the lowest price, and of course I do want to change this to heroic. Look at that, right now 130 gold. They've actually come down a lot in price recently. That's actually a fairly good price. They used to be like 150. But I mean, you know, like their price reflects the difficulty in getting them, the rarity of this item. And of course you need a heroic seal stone in order to seal up a heroic familiar. And then on top of that, well, who knows what kind of a roll you're going to get when you actually seal it. Like here, for example, let's go see, I have Agnes, level 30. I don't need a level 30 Agnes. I have my Laiku. My Laiku is faster, stronger, better in almost every single way. So I don't need to have my level 30 Agnes. In fact, I believe I got Mark for Agnes the Red from a raid, for participating in a raid. And actually, that's another fantastic way to make money. You can, and well, I'll get into that in a minute. But first of all, let's seal up this Agnes. So where's my inventory? I was getting ahead of myself here. Oh, I don't want to... Okay, let's close that. Okay, so I want to seal up my Agnes. Now, you can see here, look at that. Physical attack, 67 to 75. All stats, 16 to 19. So it's a chance. You know, it's not like you just seal it up and you're done. You know, there is a big kind of range in the kind of stats that you can actually get through the sealing process. All of this affects the price and the rarity. So here, let me seal this up first, and then I'll talk more about that. Cool. Come on, let's get some good stats. What did we get? All stats plus 18, physical attack plus 70. That's not a bad roll. Not the best, but it's not bad. So, when it comes to, you know, the auction house... Let's go find our Agneses here. Most recent, no, lowest price. So look at this. This Agnes, all stats plus 16, physical attack plus 74. It's only worth 240 or 250 gold. As we come to something closer to what I have, okay, we have to go up higher. Let's see, plus 18. Here we go. There's a plus 18 and 70. It's going for 350 gold. And that's about the same as what I have here. So, you know, I want to list my Agnes at 350 gold or less, you know, to be competitive with what's already up there on the market. Now, if you consider that, you know, however much it costs you to create the mark, and then however much it costs you to get the heroic seal stone, and then how much, you know, like your time investment to leveling up Agnes the Red to maximum level, or all the time you went through to get the recipe and the materials, and then to go farm, you know, a heroic seal stone. Like, heroic familiars are very difficult and time-consuming to produce, sealed ones anyways. And even getting ones at a decent quality are, you know, rather difficult. And so, like, look at this one here. Plus 19 to all stats. Let's go up. See here, plus 19, plus 19, plus 70 to attack. And, okay, forget that one. So, you know, like, getting a good roll on top of doing all that work means that getting the best sealed heroic familiars is not that easy. There is a lot of demand, and it's a lot of hard work. And that is, you know, the price reflects that. So you always wonder, like, how do people make all this money? Well, they put in a lot of hard work. Well, you know, they've put in hard work making connections. I'm in Primal, which is one of the big alliances on the Baylas server. You know, it was a lot of hard work, you know, getting into that. Well, not too much hard work, but still, I made the effort to make the right connections. Then, you know, I went and I participated. It took it was a big time investment to go do all those raids, and we had to compete with Hostile and Swarm, you know, to DPS them down fast enough so that we could win and we could get the loot. Like, it was a huge time investment. You know, the people who make a lot of money in this game put a lot of time and effort into this game. And, you know, like, I'm sorry to say this, ladies and gentlemen, but if you're not going to make that investment of your time into this game, then you're not going to make a lot of money. Dungeons will not net you, like, basically anything. Dungeons are for gear. That's it. They are like a stepping stone to another goal. You run the dungeons, you get some materials. If you're the first one to run that dungeon on like the hardest difficulties, sure, maybe you're going to be able to get some materials out of it or some recipes that really aren't that common on the market yet, and then you'll be able to sell them for a lot. But at the point where most people are, you know, getting into farming a dungeon, it's already been run so much that the price on the auction house for most of the stuff in it has been really driven down. So there's no point, you know, running a dungeon to make money. You run a dungeon to get gear, and then you use that gear to go out and farm, you know, the stuff that you need to go tame heroics, heroic familiars, and then, you know, you level them up and you seal them. And that is basically how you make money in this game. Alright, so I've got my Agnes thread here. Like I said, I wanted to list it at maybe 350. So I'm just going to go and I'm just going to list it at maybe like 340. Or no, that's too low. Maybe 345. It's a little bit lower than what the other guy is pricing it at. Hopefully it'll sell relatively quickly. You know, and okay, let's go and let's register that. So, I mean, if this sells, then, you know, and minus the fee, that'll be like another 320 or 330 gold I can add to my 770 gold. So I'll be back up to 1,000 in no time at all. And look at this, I got tons of other heroic marks. I've got Aisha's Will, I've got Asher's Emblems, 3 of them. I've got Devine's Perfume. I've got a Fated Koresh mark. That's a guaranteed tame right there. So, I mean, like, I have lots of, you know, marks here that I can go, even though they're bound, that I can then go and, you know, tame the heroic. And as long as I go and get a heroic sealstone, then I can seal it up. And in most of the cases, here, let's go back to, let's see here. Let's try Caspert, the one that I just sold. So look at that. I mean, look at these prices. You know, even if you get a low roll, you know, and you might subtract the cost of your heroic sealstone, assuming that you went and you farmed all the other materials or whatever, then, okay, let's say you didn't farm all the materials. Let's say you bought your Radon's tier. How much is a Radon's tier going for? Alright, a Radon's tier, wow, there's only 2 of them. It's going for 170. We already just looked at the heroic sealstone, so that was going for 130. So basically that's 300 gold right there. Let's assume that you craft, or that you got, or you went and farmed all the other materials yourself. Then, let's go back to Caspert. At a minimum, you will walk away with 300 gold in profit. Or, okay, less because of the listing fees and the broker's fees and stuff like that. So, let's say you walk away with 250 gold in profit. If you get a good roll, you can walk away with as much as maybe 350 gold in profit. So it's a little bit about spending money to make money. I mean, another popular thing, if you don't have the time to like leave your computer on all night to level up a mount, then familiar full growth potions are another way that you can go and achieve that very, very quickly. So again, in this game, time is kind of money. You can go and tame all these heroic familiars, but you know, sometimes they take several days to level up. So that means you can only sell, you know, a heroic familiar every couple days because, you know, you're constantly leveling them up. Familiar full growth potion means that you can sell them more quickly. There are several ways to get this. Let's close that.
My time is precious.
Let's go to the collections. The Old Faithfuls collection, just by taming some stuff in Brakar Forest. Familiar full growth potion right there. Very easy to get. And then let's see here, what else? Let's find another one. So, the Mount Support Package. So if you tame Venomous Caspert and a bunch of other elites, you get another familiar full growth potion. Let's see, is there any more? No. Okay. So, so let's see, how much is a familiar full growth potion going for? Familiars... Actually, I don't know what this would be under. Okay, whatever. Let's just go to, let's just type in the name. Familiar full growth potion. All right. Look at that. These things are going for 230 gold. That is absolutely redonkulous. I cannot believe this. Let's go with the lowest price. Wow. Yeah, 230 gold at the minimum, and and they get even more expensive. So, sometimes just check the price. I didn't expect a familiar full growth potion to be this expensive. Last time I checked, they were like 60 gold. So sometimes the price on the market can really fluctuate based on the demand. Now I have 5 of them here, but these ones are bound, so I can't sell them. But the ones that you get from the collections, those aren't bound. You can definitely sell those. And you can get them, sometimes you can get them through events and stuff like that, or whatever. And these are really handy. I mean, they save you a lot of time. If you get the ones through the collections, then you can just straight out sell that on the auction house. That's another way of making money. It's knowing about what people want. Like, I know that people want sealed heroic familiars so that they can have their uber gear. It's all it's about looking on the auction house and finding what do people want. Just by going and taking a look at the familiar full growth potion, we found out that that is highly in demand right now. And if you have one that's not bound, then you could sell that and make a lot of money off of it. There is some market watching you can do. You can, of course, see if someone makes a mistake with what they listed an item for. They listed it for a lot lower than what it's worth. You can buy it at a lower price, sell it at a higher price. I know people that do that, but it's very chance-based. I personally don't do that. I don't make any money from it. I just go and I make money from, selling the sealed heroic familiars. There is another way of doing this. You don't actually have to go and get the actual familiar and level it up and sell it. That is basically like the pinnacle of, how much money you can make. You can also just go farm, certain individual components, which are, individually much easier for you to get. And then you could sell those individually. They're worth a lot less, but, quantity versus demand, I guess. It means that, you'll sell more of them and therefore you'll make more money. But, in my experience, it tends to be kind of this kind of exponential, well, not exponential, but it's kind of like a linear graph. You have, the more work you have to put into something, the more it's going to be worth. The rarer it is, the more it's going to be worth. The more competition there is for it, the more it's going to be worth. So in the end, it really just comes down to how much time are you willing to invest, and also being smart about how you invest your time in this game. Making connections that are going to be worthwhile. Going after things that are in demand. And of course, just participating in the in-game events. That is actually really important because I've gotten some of this stuff through the in-game events. And obviously, now that I have all these heroic marks, even though the marks themselves are bound, not these ones, but these ones are. Once I seal up the familiars that I can tame with them, those are not bound. So, through the events, you can get items which will allow you to generate a lot of gold. And so generating gold itself is not hard. It's really not. Making gold in this game is not hard at all. It's very easy. As long as you, are a little bit smart about how you do it. And, you don't spend your time running Frostkeep. Well, no, that's a bad example. Let's say Ruins of Matren. Spend your time running Ruins of Matren, like 30 times a day. At, at this point in the game, there is no demand for anything in Ruins of Matren, except for maybe an Elite Sealstone. And I don't remember how much those are going for. Let's see here. Sealstones, Elite Sealstones, they're going for 2 gold each. So, I mean, like the Ruins of Matren, no one needs the armor in there anymore, so that's not going to sell well. The Brilliant Crystals, no one really needs that. Partially because anyone can go run it at Heroic 5, once you reach level 35 and you get some decent gear. What might be a little bit more worthwhile is running... Here, let me open the map. Let's go to Parnas Coast. Running Heroic 5 Frostkeep and running Cavern of the Veil. Now, these are the two upper level dungeons, or the 2 most difficult dungeons in the game. They're the highest level dungeons, and they are still yielding some things that are, still worthwhile, like an Aisha's Will has a chance of dropping off of Rondo. So that's worthwhile. Cavern of the Veil, Radahn's Tear. I hate how everything has to be capitalized. Oh, and I'm in the wrong section. Alright, so Radahn's Tear. If you get a Radahn's Tear to drop for you from Cavern of the Veil, that's an instant 170 gold richer that you can be. Marumi Slabs. Let's see here. Oh, there's an S. Okay, so Marumi Slab. They're doing pretty good. I mean, that's... if you get a Marumi Slab to drop for you, then you're 10 gold richer. Will one Marumi Slab make you, or give you all this gold like I have? No. You're going to have to go invest a lot of your time to go run that dungeon a lot. If you're, and hopefully you'll get lots of Marumi Slabs and a Radahn's Tear will drop for you. And maybe even, let's see here, a Marumi Tear? Yeah, Marumi Tears. So, hopefully maybe some Marumi Tears will drop for you. So, my point is that Cavern of the Veil is a very lucrative dungeon to farm right now. If you can farm it on, a difficulty that has a consistent drop rate like Heroic 5. But, again, that takes gear. That takes skill. That's a time investment. The Frostkeep, again, like... You can go run Frostkeep all you want. Mostly the only thing that drops in there is gear, and it's bound gear. You might get some blessed Frost Command stuff out of that, which you can sell for a good chunk of change. Maybe it depends on the stats, so it's completely random. If you get junk, then you might make only like 10 gold off of an individual piece. But if you get some really good stats, you might make as much as 100 or 400 gold off of an individual piece. But that is, fairly rare. And then, you might get an Aisha's Will, or you might get one of the skill books. So let's see, how much are the skill books going for? General goods, skill books. So, if you get one of the skill books to drop for you, there's Shield of Truth. There you go. There's an instant 45 gold. Wow, they're really coming down in price. Let's see here. For the Final Prayer book, it's 95 gold. So, if you get, assuming that you probably won't get any of these because they are kind of class specific. So if you have a need before greed, then obviously the tank can need on, the Shield of Truth book, and a priest can need on the Final Prayer book, and you won't be able to do anything about it. But if you are a priest or a tank, well then, and you already have this skill, then you could need on it, and you could afterwards go and sell this, and you could make like 90 gold. But these things, again, they are in demand. They only really drop off of Heroic 3 Frostkeep and above. And even at Heroic 3, it's relatively uncommon. So Heroic 5 is, what you need to run. And not everyone can do that. Especially if you are a more casual player. Going and running Heroic 5 requires knowing the fights It requires having decent gear to be able to take the hits or to put out enough DPS to take the mobs down within a decent amount of time. And it takes the experience which is another time investment. So, it all comes down to a time investment, spending the time to figure out what's in demand, what's not, making the time investment to get or to learn, what you need to do to make to get items, and also making the time investment to get the gear that you need to go farm that stuff. I couldn't farm Cavern of the Veil on Heroic so that I could make my Abyssal Karada video until I had, decent Frost Commander gear. That was just a fact of life, in this game anyways. So, there are lots of ways to make money in this game. I also forgot to mention, getting yourself into a community. This is a community-orientated game. If you want to be doing the cutting-edge stuff, you need to be part of a community, and that community needs to have the drive and the motivation to go tackle some of the more in-demand content. Now, I call it in-demand content because it's the content that will yield rewards that are in demand. To go tackle the Merciless Jaranan, to go tackle Bismuth, to go tackle the Naga bosses in Blasphemer Swamp, to go tackle Jack in the, what do they call them? The Ixaran Badlands. He drops some nice stuff. There is just, lots of ways to make gold. And it all comes down to knowing where basically what to spend your time doing, and also, to knowing what's in demand and what people are interested in. And that's basically it. There's nothing really too, complicated about it. It's not rocket science. And so, for me, I basically just go and I tame heroic familiars because that's something that, I've invested a lot of time in to become relatively good at. And then I seal them up and I sell them. I don't really go and try and play the market. I don't, sometimes I might, just sell a mark straight up. Like, for example, these Ashura emblems. I got these 3 Ashura's emblems from just doing raids with my guild. Because, I'm part of a community that has that drive, that motivation, that desire, and has made connections with enough other people or enough other guilds to, create a force that is able to go tackle content that provides rewards that are in demand by other players because, of their rarity, because of their difficulty in obtaining them, and stuff like that. So
my time is precious.
So it's all about knowing what people want and what you can do, and not really, and working towards something. Like everything I do in this game, I'm usually working towards some sort of goal. Like, or not the bestiary. Like, taming the next heroic. Here, let's bring the bestiary. Like, the next heroic I'm thinking of is Apocalypse. And then I'm also thinking of Nightmare. So, I'm working towards those goals. I'm investing my time. I'm learning. I've made sure I've joined a community where I can get support, and it's not just all about them supporting you, but it's also you supporting them. So like mutual benefit. Being in a community that where there's no mutual benefit is not beneficial. I was in some different guilds before, and they liked playing the game, but they didn't really have any motivation to go past running dungeons. Now, that's another thing that you can do to make money that I haven't touched on yet. Here, Lavalite Cave Heroic. See? Heroic Parna Familiar Mark Box. By going and clearing the dungeon 30 times, you can get yourself quite easily, because it doesn't really take a lot of skill to clear heroic lava light. You can get yourself 2 heroic marks, and you can then go out and have a chance of successfully taming a heroic familiar, level it up, steal it, and sell it. Done. No problem. Easy gold. And that is basically, the way to go about it. I've already done that with Frostkeep because I ran Frostkeep for gear. I ended up running it more than 30 times. I got my heroic mark box. I got 4 heroic marks out of it. And I think I got, out of those 4 heroic marks, I was able to tame 2 heroic familiars, and I ended up selling them, and that netted me over 1,000 gold. So yeah. So what you see here is really not that much gold. There are people who invest way more time into this game than I do, and they are like, just, they have way more gold than I do. But then again, those same people are probably the ones also spending their gold, on their gear, on acquiring things that will allow them to tackle even more difficult content, or to, do it solo, like to run a Teus solo, because you can get heroic seal stones out of that. You can also get dragon emblems and the dragon emblem recipe, Divine's Essence, stuff like that. There is, like lots of advantages to, buffing up your gear and, getting to the point where you can solo some things, and then, the drop rate's lower, but everything you get out of it, there's no competition because you're running it by yourself. And so, like, it's time you put in, it's rewards that you get out of it. And that's true with a lot of other things. The one thing that I am going to tell you not to do, don't buy gold. I mean, come on, seriously? I have never bought in a single piece of gold while I've played this entire game. Never. Never will, and that's because I don't need to. I've invested time into this game to make sure that I know how to take care of myself. And that's all I need. And to be quite honest, I'm so sorry to say this, but, like with these special events, like, you can, legit go and acquire certain things like this heroic mark box for just some nicks, some of Nexon's currency that you can purchase with real world money. So that is the other alternative. You can use your real world money to actually purchase through the in-game shop certain items, which will then allow you to acquire other things which you can then sell for gold later on. But don't go and directly buy gold from third parties. I mean, not only is it against the rules, the EULA that you agreed to when you came to play this game, or when you started up your account and you created your first character, but in my opinion, it's completely unnecessary, and it ruins the game. Like, the whole fun of playing this game is going and making gold yourself. I mean, that's the challenge of it, That is what occupies your time. It is going and getting the heroic familiars, the challenge of farming all of them, the competition against the other players to get the items you need, the heart-pounding experience of actually finding and then taming your own heroic, leveling it up, and then, selling it. That is, in essence, kind of, what a large portion of what this game is about. And if you just cheat your way to the top and go buy gold from some stupid site or some other players, then there's no reason to even play this game. Like, just quit now. Seriously. Like, don't bother. Because that's not the point. Go make your gold yourself, and you will have fun doing it. And not only will you have fun doing it, but you will have educated yourself in how to play the game better, and how to, generate your own savings. which, will come in handy. Like, I do plan on going and taming more heroics with the marks that I have and getting more heroic marks from raids and stuff like that, and then selling them so that, later on I can save up more gold either to buy stuff that I need in the future to make videos. Like, for example, the Apocalypse recipe. That's something that I want. Am I going to get that to drop? Probably not. There's way too much competition for it. Will it come onto the market at some point? Probably yes. And at that point, I want to have enough gold to be able to buy it off the auction house. Therefore, so that I can go make a taming guide on how to tame Apocalypse. And again, having savings for the future when they release the next expansion and the level cap goes up, and maybe there will be some gear or something that you can buy that will help you out, or something like that, Like, that'll be very useful in the future to have some savings. So, yeah. So anyways, let's get rid of that. So, basically, I guess I will summarize what I've covered in the video. I personally make my gold by going and taming heroic familiars and leveling them up, sealing them, and then selling them on the auction house to people who are looking for Uber gear or looking to make their gear Uber. I personally do not have any heroic familiars in my gear, and that is the trade-off. I could have heroic familiars in my gear, but then I wouldn't be able to make gold. So, like, depends what you want. The other thing you can do that I don't, I have done a little bit, is you can go and sell the materials for heroic marks, or for even some of the elite marks. You can go farm the mini bosses for the recipes and the materials for those things, and then you can sell those. Sometimes they are other sealed familiars, like to tame Lashaka, you needed some Rogatons and some Logashes. So you can go and tame those. Those are relatively easy, and you can then sell them for some gold. Magma Hounds are another thing that sells fairly well. So you can sell the materials for the marks for heroic familiars if you don't want to go out and actually tame them yourself, or if you can't gather all the materials. There are some other things, like I've done videos for Terra Karev and also for Koresh, and they have there are certain materials for those marks that come from daily quests. So doing your daily quests can also become a source of income. Aisha's Tears, again, is a daily reward that you get from doing a daily quest in the Frostkeep that allows you to that you can sell. It's a material for the Phantom mark, so you can sell the materials for the marks. That can net you a lot of money. Checking the auction house, finding what's in demand, educating yourself about that is another way that you can do that. Sometimes you will just have stuff that people want, and then you can make a lot of money off of that. And that just will come through your normal playing. You can target your time towards acquiring certain specialty items that other people are interested in that they don't want to farm themselves, like the familiar full growth potions. Or you can go run some dungeons to gather certain specialty items. Or you can watch the market. I mean, at this point in time, there is lots of stuff going on in the market. I know that the PvP equipment, the materials to craft that, are in high demand, and they sell relatively well. So you can go around and, gather those materials and then sell them. So there are lots of legit ways to make gold in this game. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It just takes some time investment, a little bit of thought, and a little bit of research, and a little bit of connecting with the right community. Actually, I'm going to list that as like one of the most important things. Connecting with a good community is very important. This is a community driven game, You need to connect with a community if you want to have any success in this game. And it's not just about making gold. It's also about, you know, achieving all the other things in the game, completing dungeons, doing raids, getting the various achievements, taming different familiars, and all that stuff. There is just tons of stuff there. And then the last way, of course, is, you know, you can use your real world money to buy things off from Alora's shop. This place. And then you can sometimes translate that to in-game gold through you know, taming or crafting items from the stuff that you can get from Alora's shop that don't end up being bound. So yeah. Lots and lots of ways of making gold in this game. So yeah, so this has been Sorvesteon bringing you my gold making guide in Riders of Icarus. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel for more videos about Riders of Icarus. Until next time, fellow adventurers, take care and have fun.